Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. You are standing in the middle of Times Square in New York. The lights are blinding, the crowds are rushing past you, and someone stops to ask you for directions. Or maybe, you're in a high-stakes board meeting in a glass skyscraper in Toronto, and all eyes are on you. You know exactly what you want to say. The ideas are brilliant, but the moment you open your mouth, you feel that familiar glitch. Your tongue feels heavy. You start worrying about your R's and your TH sounds. You see that person's eyes wander. They are struggling to understand your melody. Does that sound like a nightmare? Or does it sound like your daily life? If you feel like you're constantly performing English instead of just living it, I want you to listen closely. Today, we are ending the struggle. This isn't just another Learn English video. This is a 10,000-word deep dive into the soul of the language as it is spoken in the USA, the UK, and Canada. We are going to break down the walls of your textbook and build a bridge to the real world. We are going to practice until your jaw hurts, until your brain rewires itself, and until you stop being a student and start being a legend. This is your masterclass. This is your reset. Let's start the first chapter of your new life. Chapter 1. The Cultural Psychology of Speaking. Before we fix your sounds, we have to fix your head. In the US, especially in cities like LA or New York, English is a high-energy language. It's assertive. In the UK, it's a high-context language. What you don't say is often more important than what you do say. In Canada, it's about inclusivity and softness. The biggest mistake you're making right now is trying to use one universal English for everyone. It doesn't work. If you speak to a Londoner with a fast, aggressive New York pace, they'll think you're rude. If you speak to a Texan with a stiff, formal British accent, they'll think you're cold. The first rule of our practice today is linguistic empathy. You have to match the vibration of the room. We're going to practice vibe switching. I'm going to give you a scenario. You're late for a meeting. In the US, you don't apologize for 10 minutes. You say, "Hey, sorry I'm late, traffic was a beast." Let's jump in. Short, punchy, action-oriented. In the UK, you might say, "Ever so sorry for the delay, the tube was absolute rubbish today. Do forgive me." Subtle, slightly self-deprecating. In Canada, you say, "So sorry I'm late, Hope I didn't miss anything important. My apologies." Warm, community-focused. We are going to practice these 3 vibes over and over until you can switch them like a light bulb. Because fluency isn't just about words, it's about belonging. Chapter 2. The Phonetic Blueprint, Rebuilding Your Mouth. Now, let's get into the physical drills. Your mouth muscles have been trained for your native language for decades. To speak like a local in the West, we have to re-gym your tongue. The R factor US versus UK. In America and Canada, the R is a hard R. It's rhotic. Your tongue curls back, but it doesn't touch the roof of your mouth. Think of a dog growling, grr. Let's practice this sentence. The car is parked near the far garden. In the USA, Canada, the car is parked near the far garden. Feel that vibration in the back of your throat. In the UK, non-rhotic, the CAH is parked near the far garden. The R turns into a breath of air. I want you to repeat this 20 times. Switch between the growl and the breath. Why? Because when you can hear the difference in your own voice, your brain starts to unlock the listening skills you need for movies and real-life conversations. If you can't say it, you can't hear it. That is the golden rule of pronunciation. Chapter 3. The Secret of the Reduced Sounds. Textbooks teach you I am going to go to the store. Real life in Seattle or Toronto says, I'm a go to the store. If you pronounce every word perfectly, you sound choppy. Native speakers use reductions to save time. We are going to practice the big three reductions right now. Gonna, going to, I'm gonna grab some lunch. Wanna, want to, do you wanna come along? Gotta, got to, I've gotta finish this report. Let's build a story using these. I wanna tell you something, but I've gotta go because I'm gonna be late for my flight. Say it fast. Don't stop between the words. Let them bleed into each other. This is called linking, and it is the secret sauce of native level fluency. In our next section, we're going to take this linking and apply it to an entire paragraph of daily life. Chapter 4. The Schwa Masterclass, the Silent King of English. Now, let's talk about the most important sound you've never been taught, the schwa. If English had a king, this would be it. In the USA, UK, and Canada, we are obsessed with efficiency. We don't want to work hard to speak. The schwa is the lazy sound, a tiny, neutral that replaces almost any vowel when it's not stressed. Think about the word president. A student says, pre-sident. Every vowel is clear, but a local in DC says, pre-zuhdient. That middle, I, and the final, e, just vanish. They become schwas. Let's practice this lazy power with a drill. I want you to relax your face. Let your jaw hang slightly. Now, say these words with me, making the bold part as short and lazy as possible. About, right pointing arrow, about. Support, right pointing arrow, support. Photograph, right pointing arrow, photograph. Tomorrow, right pointing arrow, tomorrow. If you master the schwa, you stop sounding like you're reading a list and start sounding like you're telling a story. It's the difference between a mechanical clock and a flowing river. In our practice today, every time we see an unstressed syllable, we are going to schwa it. This is how you gain that effortless American, cool, or that smooth British sophistication. Chapter 5. The music of intonation, why your pitch matters. Have you ever noticed that Americans sound like they're on a roller coaster? Our pitch goes up and down constantly. If you speak in a flat line, people in New York or Toronto will think you're bored, angry, or, even worse, boring. In English, we use pitch to highlight the most important word in a sentence. This is called sentence stress, and it can change the entire meaning of what you say. Let's look at this simple sentence. I didn't tell her you were late. If you stress, I didn't tell her. Someone else did. If you stress, tell, I didn't tell her. I hinted it, or I wrote it. If you stress, I didn't tell her you were late. I told her someone else was late. This is why your practice needs to be musical. I want you to hum the sentence before you say it. Now, fill it with words. In the USA, we tend to go very high on the stressed word. In the UK, the pitch moves more subtly, like a wave. In Canada, we often have a rising intonation at the end of sentences that makes us sound friendly and approachable. Let's practice a high-energy US greeting. Say, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you." Your voice should jump on, good. If you stay flat, it sounds fake. If you jump, it sounds like you actually care. This is how you build rapport in a culture that values enthusiasm. Chapter 6. The Small Talk Survival Guide. Now we're moving into the social arena. In the UK and Canada especially, small talk is a sacred ritual. In the US, it's the social lubricant that makes business happen. If you can't talk about nothing, you'll never get the chance to talk about something. The biggest mistake learners make is thinking they need to be deep or original. You don't. Small talk is about consistency and connection. The weather strategy. It's a cliché because it works. In London, bit grey today, isn't it? In Chicago, man, this wind is no joke. In Toronto, at least it's not snowing yet, The goal isn't to provide a weather report, it's to invite the other person to agree with you. It's a social high five. When someone agrees, you've built a tiny bridge. The open-ended secret. Stop asking yes, no questions. Instead of, did you have a good weekend? Which ends the conversation. Ask, what was the highlight of your weekend? Or, how did you end up in this line of work? In the US, people love talking about their journey. In the UK, they love talking about their holidays. In Canada, they love talking about their community. Practice these open-ended hooks with me right now. Imagine you're at a networking event in London. Look at the person next to you and say, so, what brings you to this part of town? Feel the flow. Don't rush for the exit. Stay in the small talk zone. This is where trust is born. Chapter 7. Navigating Conflict and the Polite No. What happens when things go wrong? How do you say no in a culture that hates being direct? In the USA, we use the sandwich method. Something positive, then the no, then something positive. I love that idea, but I don't think we have the budget for it right now, though I definitely want to revisit it next quarter. In the UK, we use hedged language. We use words like possibly, perhaps, or a bit. I'm afraid that might be a bit difficult at the moment, actually. This actually means absolutely not. In Canada, we use the apology buffer. I'm so sorry, I'd love to help, but I'm just swamped today. Really sorry about that. Practice these soft no's with me. If you say a hard no, you sound like a villain in a movie. If you use these cultural scripts, you sound like a leader. We are going to drill these until you can decline an invitation or reject a proposal while still making the other person feel like your best friend. Stop. Just for a second, stop trying to be perfect. You've spent years collecting grammar rules like they're some kind of rare coins. You've memorized the irregular verbs, you can explain the present perfect tense better than most native speakers, and yet, the moment you step onto a street in Manhattan, or walk into a pub in London, or join a Zoom call with a team in Toronto, your brain hits a brick wall. You feel like a visitor in your own mouth. You're translating every word from your native language, searching for the correct preposition, while the conversation moves past you at 100 miles an hour. What if I told you that the reason you aren't fluent isn't because you don't know enough English? It's because you're playing by the wrong rules. You're playing by the classroom rules, but the world operates on local rules. Welcome to the ultimate English practice class. This isn't a lecture. This is a transformation. Over the next few hours, we are going to dismantle the way you think about English and rebuild it from the ground up. We are going to talk about the melody of the US, the sarcasm of the UK, and the politeness of Canada. By the time we're done, you won't just be speaking English, you'll be owning it. No more Martian looks. No more, can you repeat that? Are you ready to stop being a student and start being a communicator? Let's get to work. Section 1. The identity of English 0 to 30 minutes. Before we dive into the sentences and the sounds, we have to talk about the identity. In the USA, English is a tool for action. It's fast, it's direct, and it's designed to get results. In the UK, English is a dance of history and subtlety. And in Canada, it's a bridge between two worlds. If you try to speak US business English, in a small town in England, you'll sound aggressive. If you speak formal British English, in a tech startup in California, you'll sound like you're from a 19th century novel. The first step in our practice today is the listening audit. I want you to close your eyes and listen to the world around you. If you're in a Western country right now, or if you watch Netflix, listen to the gaps. Native speakers don't speak in straight lines. We speak in curves. We use fillers, those little words like, you know, I mean, and, basically. Teachers tell you to avoid them. I'm telling you to embrace them. Why? Because fillers give your brain time to think without stopping the flow of the conversation. In this practice session, we are going to learn how to use these fillers to sound more natural. Let's practice our first local phrase. Instead of saying, I think that we should go to the park, which sounds very stiff, we're going to say, I mean, I was thinking, maybe we could just, you know, hit the park. Do you feel the difference? The first one is a sentence from a book. The second one is a sentence from a life. One is a statement, the other is a vibration. We're going to practice that vibration today. Section 2. The TD Transition Masterclass Practice Drills. Now, let's get physical. Let's talk about that T sound we touched on before. This is the hallmark of the North American accent. If you want to survive and thrive in a US or Canadian office, you have to master the flapped T. When a T is between two vowels, it becomes a soft D. This is your first drill. I want you to say these words with me, but don't say the T. Say the D. Water right pointing arrow water. Better right pointing arrow bedder. City right pointing arrow see die. Party right pointing arrow par die. Now, let's put them in a story. Imagine you're at a party in the city, and you're feeling better after drinking some water. Native speed. I was at a par die in the sea die, and I started feeling better after having some water. Say it again. Feel how your tongue just lightly flaps against the roof of your mouth. It's not a hard D, like in dog. It's a light, quick tap. This is how you gain speed. If you try to pronounce the T in all those words, your mouth gets tired. Native speakers are linguistically efficient, or, as I like to call it, productively lazy. We want to say the most with the least amount of effort. Now, let's flip the script for our UK audience. If you're in London, that T might disappear entirely. It becomes a glottal stop. It's like a tiny catch in your throat. Water right pointing arrow wa, Bottle right pointing arrow bow, l. Try both. Depending on who you're talking to, being able to switch between these two sounds is like having a superpower. It shows that you're not just a learner, you're a linguistic chameleon. Section 3. The Schwa Deep Dive, the secret of the unstressed. We've talked about the schwa before, but today, we are going to live in it. The schwa is the neutral gear of the English language. In the US, UK, and Canada, we don't emphasize every word. If you emphasize everything, you emphasize nothing. Take the word important. Learners often say, I am important. Natives say, I am important. The last syllable almost vanishes. It becomes a schwa. Let's practice these schwa-heavy sentences. It's about time. It's about time. I need support. I need support. What's the opinion? What's the opinion? Do you hear how the first syllable is just a tiny It's like a heartbeat before the main word. If you can master this, your English will suddenly sound deeper and more authentic. You'll stop sounding like you're shouting every word and start sounding like you're sharing a secret. And in Western culture, Sharing a secret is how you build trust.